Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar. Today we'll be talking about cost modeling to Amazon, how you can discover on-premise workloads and model AWS costs in minutes, and with our right sizing feature, save 30 to 60% costs. We are so excited to show you this tool. We have a highly innovative solution that is solving a very timely problem. Today, we have two speakers joining us. Garima Thakcham, that's me. I'm the founder and CEO of Akasia. And we also have Gurmeet Singh, our chief architect. As far as the agenda goes, we will be giving you an introduction to the company, the problem we are solving, and our solution. Then we'll walk through a live demo of our product, just as if you were using it. Then we go through 3 customer case studies. And at the very end, we have a special offer for attendees. So make sure you stay till the end and sign up before you exit the webinar. While we are going through the webinar, please feel free to post your questions in the chat window, and we will answer them all together at the end. About Akasia, we were founded in October 2013. So we've been active for 2.5 years. We do business worldwide, and we have 2 locations. Our headquarters are in Santa Clara, California, and our development organization is in Pune, in India. We are venture-backed by Thai Launchpad. Our vision and the premise on which the company was founded is that the old costing model of CapEx and OpEx, where you pay once and use it until the end of its life cycle, is an old model, and it is fast becoming obsolete. The new model that has come into play with the adoption of the public cloud is where you have a subscription offering, and with the subscription payments, you can optimize and immediately save costs. So there is a new cost model that is in play, and there are no tools in the industry that take care of the new OpEx costing model. In other words, the dollar value of a workload will become crucially important, and the ability to model the dollar value of the workloads will become important in the new hybrid deployment of IT. Now, quickly, the problems that we solve. I'm sure you're all familiar with these. The first one is that cost forecasting for the cloud is a very complex exercise. And while nearly every enterprise is considering the cloud, is evaluating the cloud either for migration or for DR projects, the crucial factor of doing the cost forecasting slows down these projects. The second problem is that while you pay once and continuously use your infrastructure on-prem, there are charges that you don't pay for on-prem that you end up paying for in the cloud, and they hold surprises in the cloud. So what we do with our solution is we discover the on-premise workloads, we identify the configuration as well as the utilization, and we present the recommended cloud templates and their costs, and we show the visibility of any hidden charge in the cloud.
Here what we do is, with our tool, you get cloud cost insights in minutes. You can get recommendations for the most suitable cloud templates within seconds, actually, in our tool. That's right here. And we take into account not just the infrastructure, but also the applications you're running on those VMs. In this slide here, what you have is some RDS templates that the tool has automatically picked from your on-prem environment. You can also see detailed cloud costs for a variety of public clouds side by side. And this is something that's very unique to our tool and is highly useful to be able to do what-if analysis and also to do some convincing of upper management in terms of which cloud to go to. Another unique factor about our tool is that we do right sizing and what-if analysis to further save costs by migrating to the cloud. And this is highly useful On-prem, you have a lot of capacity that oftentimes is not being used, and by making a decision to only migrate used capacity, you can save a lot of costs from right sizing. The second problem we solve is hidden charges. So on-prem, like I said earlier, and as all of you understand really well, is that you buy a lot of infrastructure and then you use it continuously. You don't particularly pay attention to network usage or I/O transactions, etc. However, these hidden items can become quite heavy for charge items in the cloud. So what we do is in the tool, we clearly identify all of the cloud charge items that are on-prem, and that way you have clear understanding of what your costs will be in the cloud. In other words, there are no cost surprises after migrating to the cloud. So quickly, typical uses of Akasia. We have modeled thousands of VMs in the industry today, and we are popular for cloud migration planning and cloud assessment services among consultants as well as enterprises. So one of an emerging popular use of our product is in pre-sales discussions. And this is something we discovered. One of our advantages is that we do the modeling in minutes. And this is highly useful during pre-sales discussions because the consultant can sit down with their customers, look at their on-prem environment, and then do the modeling in just minutes. And that enables the customer to go down the path of making decisions faster instead of waiting for several weeks. We're also very popular when RFP responses need to be created. And this is because with our output, the customer can clearly see what are the hidden costs, and also make sure that their performance tuning that has been done on-prem is indeed being carried over to the cloud. So our output is frequently included in RFP responses. And obviously, one of the continuous threads in this use is for enterprises themselves, where either IT admins or cloud architects who are modeling different uses for the cloud, as well as thinking about which workloads to move to the cloud, they play with our tool to do their what-if analysis as well. How Akasia works, you can broadly divide it up into 3 steps. The first step, and you will see our demo follow this sequence of steps too. The first step is we connect into your on-prem environment and we discover your on-prem workloads. This includes the applications as well as the resources supporting them, that is the VMs. We detect the allocated resources and also actual used resources. That's the first step. The second step is we allow you to model the costs. And here you can do right sizing and what-if analysis. And this includes changing the recommendations that the tool has provided so you can put in some of your own custom information. The third step is doing the actual modeling. And this takes just minutes, where Akasia presents recommended cloud templates. And these templates are for optimal cost performance that we have detected of your on-prem environment. And then we show the cloud templates for Amazon, Azure, SoftLayer, or Google. The benefits from Akasia, so like I mentioned earlier, instead of a lot of guesswork or playing with complex spreadsheets, you can proactively model costs of operating on-premise workloads in the cloud. There'll be no surprises after you migrate to the cloud. So we'll show you how we do the automated discovery of the on-premise workload characteristics, and then the modeling of the cost of running those workloads in Amazon, Azure, SoftLayer, or Google. In today's webinar, we will be going down deeply into Amazon. The other benefit is right sizing to save costs. And like I mentioned earlier, this is a unique advantage that our tool provides. And we have seen customers save 30 to 60% cost by only migrating the used capacity to the cloud. And here, how we do this is by automated analysis of allocated versus used resources for on-premise workloads, and then visualization of the cost savings from right sizing when moving to the cloud. Our tool is very simple to use, but we understand that migrations are not that simple. So we allow for very sophisticated what-if analysis. And here you can take the recommendations that the tool has provided and then edit them further if you want to do custom migrations or if you just want to play with what-if analysis. Now, another benefit we have, and this is not necessarily for Amazon at the moment, but it's for SoftLayer bare metal. For SoftLayer bare metal servers, there are a lot of physical environments that are being consolidated, and doing the consolidation is a fairly complex task, and our tool generates 3 recommendations for optimal consolidation of on-prem servers to IBM bare metal. Quickly spotlighting how we are unique. We solve a targeted cost performance modeling problem that nobody else solves in the industry today. So we give the most accurate cloud cost estimates by carefully taking the on-premise utilization into account and exposing the hidden costs, and providing estimates in minutes, unlike a lot of other tools that are larger, perhaps older, and they provide more rough estimates and they take weeks to provide that. We also discovered as we went through our sales process that our costs are roughly 10 times lower than other vendors. So this is a huge advantage to you, the customer. Now what we're going to do is quickly jump into the demo so you can see for yourself the tool in action. Here's our tool. The first thing you would do is log in. The next thing you would do is ingest the data from your on-prem environment. And there are 2 ways to do that. One is by connecting to your local management environment, and in this demo, we are adding a new vCenter. So you would enter the credentials of the vCenter, click Add, and then the tool would connect into your local vCenter and pull all the information it needs to do the modeling. The second way is to import from a file. And this is typically done when you don't have access, local access to the vCenter environment. In this case, what you would do is you would run the collector tool remotely where the vCenter exists on the same network. The collector would create a set of CSV files. The customer would email the CSV files to you, and you would then ingest the CSV files here. So in other words, there are 2 ways of ingesting the data from the on-prem environment. In this example, I've already ingested some data. So after you've done that, you go into Assets View and take a look at all your assets. So I'll give you a minute to look over the screen. Now I'd like to draw your attention to the top here, where for you, how much of the infrastructure is actually being used and how much is spare. So you can see right off the bat here that in your entire infrastructure, nearly 66% of capacity is spare. So in other words, you can save that much cost if you were to migrate only your used environment. You can click on these different tabs and you can take a look at all the information we've discovered. So this is information about the virtual machines. And like I mentioned earlier, all of these items are chargeable items in the cloud. And this is so there's no ambiguity. You can also edit some of these variables and click Apply, and that will apply some custom changes for your environment as you're doing the modeling. Here you can look at the host systems. Let's see, we've discovered 12 hosts, their host IDs, the models, as well as their configuration. We also discover applications, and in this case, what you can do is click on these downward arrow buttons, and you can see what are the apps running. We allow you to model just the VM or the VM plus the app. And in this example, you can see that we've discovered that 3 of these VMs are running MySQL. And during the demo, you will see how we do the automated modeling to Amazon RDS. So once you've picked the apps you want to model, you can click Apply. The next step would be, if you want to compare on-prem versus in cloud, you would go in and make sure that the were correct. The tool factors in every single item that goes into the cost of running a workload. This includes hardware, software, maintenance, taxes, power cost, facilities cost, admin costs, backup, and any other cost. So we factor all that in automatically, and it's up to you to go in and edit any of those items so your real costs are factored into the modeling. This is the host lifetime. Once you've done the edits, you can look at your monthly costs, and for this host, the monthly cost of operating it is $3,434. We also calculate the VM monthly cost, and this depends on the size of the infrastructure, the size of the VM, as well as the infrastructure supporting that VM. In this case, this particular VM is off, so its costs are lower, whereas there are other VMs that are running on and their costs are higher. So this is where you would set the on-prem cost. A lot of our customers like to do the comparison of on-prem versus in-cloud, and this is a very useful factor for them. The next step is the meat of our solution, and that is Plan for Cloud. And here you would click on Plan for Cloud. Then we allow you to select the category that you want to model. You can select from among VMs. You can select host system. So you could say, I want to migrate this entire physical host to the cloud. Let's do that. You can pick cost centers, and this is where you've done some tagging. And you can pick either departments or workloads, and we automatically pull the infrastructure supporting those workloads or departments, and you can do the modeling for them. You can also model for operating systems. So you can say, I want to move all of my Windows Server 2008 systems, and then you can do the modeling that way. For the purposes of the demo, I'm going to pick these VMs. I'll take another one here that has MySQL running on it, so you can see the automated RDS. Now you click Generate Estimates. And as you saw in just seconds, it gives you what are the costs across these different clouds in easy chart form here and in tabular form right here. So you can eyeball this really quickly and see what the cost will be per VM, as well as the total cost. You can also click on these tabs. So if you were to migrate this particular VM into Amazon Reserved Instance, the tool is recommending that you pick T2.medium. And the reason why it's picked T2.medium is that the configuration of T2.medium in Amazon is closest to the on-prem configuration of this particular VM. For the second VM here, this was running MySQL, so we've picked an Amazon template that's running a database, and you get the optimal cost performance there that way, and so on. Now, like I said earlier, you can do what-if analysis, so even though the tool is recommending T2.medium, you can go in and change it and say you want a larger template, so you could change it to R3.large, and you saw immediately how the cost there changed. You go back to pick T2.medium. There you go. Now you can do that for Amazon On Demand, and while you're at it, you can also look at the other clouds. Azure, like I showed you just now, SoftLayer, public node and private node. Google, predefined templates. And you can see Google also, we picked the templates with the Google custom, where you build the VM yourself. So you can pick the CPU cores, memory, etc. Let's go back to Amazon because that's what we're doing. So here are the templates we've picked. We've laid out the cost. For these instances, the network and the IO transaction wasn't above the threshold where Amazon starts charging for them, so you see 0. But if your VMs were chatty, then you would see some of these items going up in cost. The next step would be right sizing. So you click on right size, and here you can quickly see the difference between the allocated and consumed resources on-prem. So these are the VMs you're modeling. As a total, you can see that even though over 34 gigahertz of CPU cycles were allocated, only 5 gigahertz are being used. And 41 gigs of memory were allocated, but only 8 are being used. You can see that all the storage that was allocated is being used. On the lower chart here, you can get the substance of what the cost differential would be for the allocated versus consumed resources. And this gives you in tabular form. So one-to-one mapping is when you're moving a fully allocated VM to the cloud. Right sizing is when you're moving only the used capacity. So here you can see what the differences are. For Amazon, it would be $708 per month versus $180. So you can see the savings here are substantial, and so on down the line here for all the different clouds. You can click on the tabs to get the details. So here you can see the differences in the templates that were picked. So if you were to right size, you'd pick these. Or were to move everything one-to-one mapped, you would pick these templates. And the cost savings for each of those VMs is now shown here, and the total cost savings are these. So the next step would be picking advanced options. Where we understand that when you model workloads being migrated to the cloud, you have to pick certain services in the cloud that go into fleshing out your entire workload. And these include ordering operating systems. And we have the entire service catalog from Amazon pulled into our tool. So you could pick from any of these. Let's go ahead and pick this. You often have to decide on data transfer in and out because that's a chargeable item. So some of this we automatically factor into the cost, but if there's additional data you think you'd be either ingressing or egressing from Amazon, you can factor that in here. So let's see, data out is typically a cost factor. So we can say data out using that, and the tool gives what you need to enter. So you need to enter the number of gigabytes. So let me, this is there, and the number of gigabytes, let's say. Refresh cost. You can also order additional storage, so maybe some EBS, perhaps elastic IP addresses, maybe CloudWatch, load balancers. Let's order one of those. Additional storage, then you can put data in and out of S3 or support. So you can add all of these to flesh out your modeling, refresh costs. And so you have now added on the costs from additional Amazon services. Then you go into other costs. And the other costs are two kinds of costs. So there's a one-time cost. This could be your one-time implementation or one-time migration. So you can put that in here. Then another type of cost is a monthly recurring cost. And this is either monthly access, because now you have to pay for access to Amazon. perhaps you need to get some admin hours that you didn't have to before, because Amazon admins are different from regular admins. So you can factor in all of that and then hit refresh cost. All of this is added. Now you go to summary cost, which is the meat of our output. So this is where we show you all of the information that we've processed so far in terms of modeling. You've selected these VMs to migrate. This is your selection summary in terms of infrastructure. This is your monthly on-prem CapEx and OpEx. You can apply any cloud discount. So oftentimes our SI partners are able to provide a discount to their customers. You can factor that in here if that's the case. Here at the on-prem cost of operating these particular VMs, here's your one-time migration. Then here are the costs of Amazon reserved instance for one-to-one mapping. This is with right sizing. This is on demand with one-to-one mapping, and this is on demand for right sizing. Here you can quickly see what your savings from right sizing will be per month. In addition, in tabular form, we give you a breakdown of your compute costs, right size costs for Amazon reserved instance. This is on demand. Then these are the additional services you ordered. These are the monthly other costs. The total. The total includes compute as well as monthly services as well as other costs. And we have customers exporting this plan, including it in their reports, and using it that way. Is the demo of the tool. And as you could see, we have shown you in just a few minutes what would take several weeks of human hours to calculate and complete. So not only is it the time, but it's also the complexity and oftentimes the aggravation of having to stay up to date with all the different cloud templates and costs and so on. So now let's go back to the presentation, and I will talk about customer successes. So we've shown you the tool, we've given you some theory around it, and now let's talk about how it's actually used in the real world. So I have 3 customers laid out here. We are not naming them because this is a public communication, but if we have an NDA with any of you, we are happy to provide you with names. Our first customer here in this discussion is a large SI, individuals whose only job was to do the cost modeling, and they were using, they had built a spreadsheet over the months of their work that did the cost analysis, and this was their job during cloud assessments as well as migration assessments. Their issue around the spreadsheet-based cost analysis was that after, with all the templates, the geos, the pricing, the keeping all of that information updated, so they looked around for a tool, and they approached us. They were instrumental with using our product pretty early on. And the way we solved the problem for them was we were able to discover the on-prem resources automatically in just minutes and give a detailed visualization of Amazon costs. And in this case, this particular department began to use our product on a daily basis. And the advantage to them is the aggravation of the complexity is reduced, and they're also able to turn around the calculations in just minutes instead of 2 to 3 weeks to do so. So that's one customer. The second customer is an online marketer, and they had a project where they, the IT admin wanted to move the environment to Azure. And the CFO wasn't convinced that it would indeed make financial sense for them to move these 100+ VMs into Azure. And they did an online search, found us, and to not only make a case to the CFO for the migration to Azure. All the CFO wanted to know was a firm estimate of what their monthly cost in Azure would be, and the tool was able to provide them that information. The third customer here is an IT department of a US state. Their problem was they've been talking about the cloud. They were unsure if the cloud was cheaper or more expensive. They were also unsure about which cloud to use. So what were the relative costs of the different clouds? And how we solved the problem for them was we allowed the IT admin to model their on-prem, the on-prem versus Amazon, Azure, SoftLayer, and Google costs side by side. So these are just 3 examples. We have multiple more customers that are using a product for roughly similar use cases. So we are coming to the end of our presentation here, and I wanted to highlight a special offer. We didn't advertise the special offer early on. I wanted this to be a reward for all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit in during our webinar. This is a special offer only for attendees, and it's also for new customers only. I do see from the list here we have some existing customers. So our offer is you can model 100 VMs for $50. So essentially, for the price of a good dinner, you can model 100 VMs of your environment. The discount from our actual pricing is immense here. It's about a percent markdown. You do have to sign up within 48 hours. You can use the same link that we have. We have an offer for everybody that's called 50 for 50. And so everyone else can model 50 VMs for $50, but you as attendees can model 100 VMs for $50. You do have to sign up within 48 hours, like I said. So this is a special offer as a thank you to you all. I hope you will sign up and download the product and run it and get the benefits that we. So now we'll go into Q&A, and let's take a look at some of the questions. So the first question is, can you ingest data from physical systems, example AIX, HPUX, etc.? And the answer is yes, we can. The way we would do that is not automated because these systems are quite old. The way we would is we will give you the CSV templates, and the data can be entered either manually or pulled from any CMDBs that you may have. But we can definitely model the infrastructure from AIX, HPUX, or others. The second question is, do you have to enter the on-prem unit cost yourself? So the answer there is that the tool loads default information automatically, but you can go in and edit the information there to custom for your environment. The third question here, while the questions are coming in, is after migrate or right size your servers once they are in the cloud? Absolutely, yes, you can. So once your environment has been moved to the cloud, we are able to look at the utilization metrics, and we're able to do the optimization or right sizing once you're in the cloud. So like I said, we are a hybrid cost management tool, so we are able to also optimize once you move to the cloud. Okay. Another question is, how do you stay updated with changes in? So we have written integrations to the APIs for all these various clouds. What we do is we changes every day. So once a day, we go out, pull from all these APIs, check for the price changes. If we detect that prices change, then we push that price change out to all of our installations. Okay. And see how to add additional clouds. So right now we have the major clouds supported, but we do understand that there are some clouds that are such as um, Telstra, etc. And it is fairly easy for us to add additional cloud. It just takes 3 to 4 weeks, and we are happy to pick that up as a custom if you need us to do so. All right. There are some pricing questions, and because this occasion we won't be answering the questions here, but what you can do is send us an email after the presentation is over. We'll be happy to set up a personal discussion with you and go over pricing. Okay, I think we have addressed all the questions we could here. Thank you so much, all of you, for staying till the end. We had nearly everyone stay till the end. That's fantastic. And we will send it to you. And have a wonderful day, and please get back to us if you have any questions.